Welcome to the Swingset. Climb on up, there is always a swing available. On Life on the Swingset, the podcast, we explore ethically non-monogamous relationships, the pleasures and passions, the promise and pitfalls. We discuss all aspects of ethical non-monogamy in a fun, open, and welcoming fashion, with a gleam in our eye, a bounce in our step, our hands down your pants. Ooh, sorry, got ahead of myself. We may be biased. In fact, we most certainly are. But we don't sugarcoat, and each of us speaks honestly and earnestly about our thoughts, ideas, and experiences throughout our very own lives on the swing set. Thanks for swinging by.
One of the most enjoyable experiences you can have is putting on your headphones, closing your eyes, and listening to Rose Caraway, the sexy librarian, breathe some erotica right into your ears. Tonight we're talking with Rose about her audiobook Erotica, phone sex, and dirty talk on Life on the Swingset, the podcast. I'm Cooper, and with me I have...
Hi everyone, it's Dylan Thomas.
Hi, it's Katie Mack.
And welcome, Rose.
Thank you so much for having me, Cooper. I'm very happy to be here.
And thank you for your patience. This has taken like 5 attempts and all of the problems of me not understanding how time zones work. Really.
Dude, we're good. We're good. It's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah, Cooper is the very definition of the opposite of an international man of mystery. A very local, extremely local man of mystery.
No, I'm the extremely local man of obvious tastes.
Nice.
So, Rose, you are constantly coming up on the top of Audible's erotica lists. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. I love coming on top. It's fabulous.
And as our listeners can hear, you have an awesome, sexy voice.
Oh, thank you. I've always hated the sound of my voice until I started doing this. I'm like, hey, this is sexy.
Well, isn't that a great place to start? Because I think a lot of people don't participate in, we'll call it oral sex, and I feel like I have to pronounce it aural sex.
Aural.
So people don't get confused, even though I wouldn't pronounce it that way otherwise. But a lot of people avoid it because they hate the sound of their voice, and how could it be sexy? And so you hated the sound of your voice. How do you get over that?
There are some audio clips that I still can't get over, and it really shines through whenever I have written something and I say, oh shit, I'm going to have to say that now. That's really still the sort of mountain I'm trying to climb and still build my confidence that way. I think that repetition is the mother of all skills, so just keep doing it until you get comfortable. I don't know any other way, man. You just got to keep doing it.
I didn't get used to my voice at all until I was pretty deep into podcasting. I remember the first few episodes hearing them back and going, holy, is that what I fucking sound like? And wanting to just call everyone in my life and be like, how come you never told me?
How dare you?
Like somebody didn't tell you that you have something in your teeth. Like, how come you never told me that's what I sound like? And you do kind of get used to it the more you hear yourself.
It's so weird because even though you get used to it or maybe start to accept or like it, I cannot hear what other people hear in my voice. You know, it's like when people talk about it, and I imagine, Rose, you get the same feeling. It's like when they talk about how much they love your voice, it's just like, really? What's wrong with you?
They've described it as silken and sexy, and I'm going, no, you have to listen to Kate Mulgrew narrate Joe Hill's Nosferatu. That woman's voice hits, or like, you know, I'm like, I need to start smoking cigarettes and drinking brandy to get to like the sexy that's in my head, yeah. what I thought sexy. But you know, my husband, he's like, no, you've got that sweet sort of innocent sound that, you know, the guys really like. I'm like, okay, well, it's just how I talk. I don't know.
So, Rose, have you ever recorded with a monitor in your ear so that you actually hear yourself live at the same time?
I wear my cans. I have my can. Yeah. I hear myself as I'm talking. So I hear all the mouth noises. I hear when the mouth gets dry. I mean, so I am my worst critic overall, without a doubt. And so maybe that's not what everyone wants to hear. It's like I'm trying to constantly get better. And so I listen to, like, whenever I was listening to you, Cooper, read your audiobook, I was like, I really got into your groove, and I'm like, okay, so it's kind of a study. Like, I'll listen and I'll study other voices and try to do it and try to make it my own. So I'm just always trying to get better.
Well, I've always known. I got comfortable with my own voice about 3 years ago, and it was because I ended up kind of standing on a stage talking. And I could hear there were some panels that were supposed to cancel out audio, but it also reflected it back. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really shocking me. I get it now. And I understand what people are hearing. Because there's a difference between hearing exactly what comes through the mic and hearing it directly into my ears and hearing what somebody hears that's, 5, 10, 20 feet away from me. And I finally started to like my voice. But at first, I kind of compare it to, I changed my facial hair recently. And every time I looked in the mirror, it was shocking, and I was almost disgusted with myself. Like, I could see myself underneath I could see myself underneath the layer of fuzz that I had rearranged on my face, and so it was recognizable but still strange and off. And so, I mean, it didn't disgust me like I hated it, but it didn't feel like me, and so it was a shock and a little bit of disgust in that moment. And I kind of felt that way listening to my own voice after a while, right away, but just hearing what I sounded like from other people's perspectives kind of did it. And voices carry differently from a distance than they do over the mic. And after I figured that out, I kind of started liking how I sounded. And now I'm really arrogant about it, so it's great.
I'm like the opposite. I'm like, no, let me hear somebody else. Go.
When having just gone through the process of editing my audiobook and removing every stupid fucking sound I make in between my words. I didn't know it was possible to make so much sounds between words. I really, really didn't like my voice for a long time there. That was...
You've got a great voice. It's amazing how many noises can come between the nose and the throat.
Yeah.
I mean, you got mucus and spit, and, if you ate a quick apple before recording, there's all kinds of stuff going on in there.
You got to clean the pop filter off after you're done with it because you just get everything on.
Exactly. This is the sexiest podcast we've ever recorded.
Well,
it's one of the things I really do appreciate about people that have taken the time to really speak into a microphone, especially erotica, is that for me it's the space between the words that sometimes do it. A lot of those sounds I don't get to hear from somebody that's 5 or 10 feet away from me, but being up close to somebody, I can hear everything, and I like to get very, very close to people, not necessarily like right in their face, but like right next to them, and I really pay attention to how they sound. And when somebody's recording into a microphone, and especially with erotica, it's the little smacks, it's the little noises in between. Sometimes it's the way that they breathe, even the little whistle that occasionally escapes the nose. That reminds me of being next to somebody, and it kind of enhances it.
That's part of that injecting it into your brain right from the headphones. Yeah, like I didn't pick up on, how effective a breath after a specific sentence can affect someone.
Oh, yeah.
If you just let that breath hang just a tad. And I was always after my husband, no, cut all my breaths out because I sound deaf. I don't want to sound, I want to sound sexy and sensual. And he's like, no, listen, sometimes those tongue clicks, sometimes the noise with your teeth as you're kind of grinding on a word, people love that. It's that closer intimacy.
Mm-hmm. And it's what makes you sound natural. And that's the other thing I had to figure out is the balance between sounding like myself and sounding more like an exceedingly precise version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to, it's almost like the uncanny valley problem in digital effects. If it's too real, it looks upsetting. So you have to bring it back a little bit and make it a little bit grimier, a little bit rougher, and then it's okay. And so I wound up removing almost everything and leaving just that little bit. But you're right, when it comes to the moments where you want to emphasize and you're using your breath to do that, that's really where it excels. And that's one of the things that can be a real boon to anyone who's looking to explore phone sex, specifically phone sex, because then it's in the ears. Dirty talk, you're often face to face, so you're not getting the same kind of impact from that breathing. But when you're doing phone sex, or if you're recording something for a partner or playmate, it can really be about finding the ways that you can feel sexy doing it, because that'll come across.
Absolutely. And, even my nervousness was appealing. There were many people who were like, we like how genuine you sound. Like your character's nervous and you're nervous. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm just nervous about reading the words here to you. I'm afraid you're going to think that I suck. And so I'm like terrifying myself and getting myself all worked up. Breath, all of it. Keep it a little bit dirty. Don't make it uber clean. When I listen to some of the audiobooks, like we've noticed in Audible, the erotica production is super compressed. Like when we send it to them, they super compress it, and it doesn't sound as good as it did when we sent it off. Now, but if you go to listen, for example, to Joe Hill's Nosferatu by Kate Mulgrew, it sounds so sweet, but they don't let us dirty, redheaded erotica people get that same compression. They're like, no.
We found the same thing. We also put our stuff out on Stitcher, and I noticed that when people download our podcast directly, it sounds exactly the way I produced it. But when I send it through Stitcher, or TuneIn, for example, when I tried that briefly, it compressed it down, and it really lost. It lost audio fidelity, but it lost some of that.
Some of that luster.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Damn it. It's just sex, people. Get over it. It's sex.
I'm seriously over here thinking about if you could get erotica on vinyl.
Oh.
That would just be yummy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. That's perfect for a play party. Let me get my collection out.
Oh man, can you just imagine having a bunch of people sitting in a room with drinks in their hands, and you bring out the 3-foot tall record player, and you kind of make a production out of taking that piece of vinyl out and flipping it around a little bit, laying it down, picking up the needle, just gently putting it down. You start hearing the audio space fill with some of the scratchiness of the analog record and the dirt that's built up, and then all of a sudden it starts playing, and then it becomes an experience. And now I need to throw another play party and do this.
See, this is Dylan's meta-erotica.
You're welcome,
because
Dylan.
He's writing an erotica story about playing erotica on a record player at a play party. See, this is great, Dylan.
So what do you drink at that kind of a party? That's what I want to know.
1950s cocktails.
Cocktails.
Yeah.
And so what do you wear? Like, is it formal? It's got to be kind of formal, right?
Well, I imagine we all come in formal clothing of some sort. We slowly take things off as...
And then come out of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cooper.
I heard Katie already giggling. I had to give her the money shot there, Dylan.
I'm not mature enough for this. I don't get to go to the fancy party.
Oh, what? Why?
Hey, the fancy party looks just like the regular party once everybody gets naked and starts humping.
Yeah.
See, can we just skip the whole heels thing? Like, I'm a get on the mat and roll with the boys kind of girl. I've never gotten used to heels. Like, I just did the body storytelling thing.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
oh God, I'm going to fall on my face. I'm going to fall. That's like the constant reel that was warning me in my head. Don't fall on your face. Don't fall on your face. It's just heels. That's all it is. It's good. Oh, yeah.
You know, Rose, I had that same experience this weekend because my heels for my Frankenfurter costume arrived.
Those were your fishnet legs.
Those were my fishnet legs, yes.
What was that about? I didn't get a chance to delve into that. What was that about?
Well, I'm going to see Rocky Horror at the Music Box on Halloween, It's
Ooh,
their big
yeah.
40th anniversary showing of it.
Right.
And so I figured go big or go home, which in this case is go Frankenfurter or go home. So I'm doing it.
And are you going to take a full picture?
Maybe.
I think you should.
It depends on
You
how
asked
sexy I
nicely.
feel.
I mean, dude, those calves. If I could whistle, yeah, do
You
it.
can't whistle either?
Man, some days no.
And behold, a bond was forged.
I can't whistle either.
Like I've always wanted to be able to whistle with the two fingers in the mouth.
Me too.
Dudes, like at the games, they're like, "Whoa!" Like, dude, I envy that whistle.
I can't. I can make a noise, but I can't whistle notes on purpose. Like I could make a whistle noise happen, but I have no control over what it sounds like. I could not whistle suggestively if I wanted to. Like I can't do like the wolf whistle, like that cartoon, like.
Occasionally a nostril will do really well, but those don't count like at all. Whatever. Suck it.
I've always taken great joy in whistling, so I actually recorded a little whistling once, and it didn't sound too bad. But I'll whistle enough for the both of you in exchange for just a little bit of chatter, because I'm kind of enjoying listening to you.
Dylan, I think you should put together a whistle solo in the middle of this podcast. Just do a little freestyle and whistle. Just a little. No big deal. You would get so many fan letters.
Everyone can do Andy Griffith. Go for it.
That's true.
I just threw out Andy Griffith. Wow.
I think
Don't
the
worry,
next
everybody
time any of
knows.
you are having phone sex with anyone, you should just randomly start whistling in the middle of it and see what happens.
Specifically the Andy Griffith.
Or the Call Bill or the Kill Bill. What was that one? Oh my god.
Oh, the Bernard Herrmann bit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's better. Do that one.
Yes.
Eye patch and all.
I can't be held responsible if your phone sex ends abruptly once you start doing that. Please don't write me angry letters. I make no promises of outcome.
Okay, well let me ask. Who I'm not going to say frequently. Who has phone sex on this podcast?
I just raised my hand and realized no one could
Excellent.
see me.
Katie has raised her hand.
I do not have phone sex. I work with my husband and I are together nearly 24/7. It's only when we go to train separately that we're apart.
Mhm.
So where there is no, we do.
So when you are apart, you really could, you just enjoy the silence.
Well, we do the whole. There's
Like
an
Depeche
app
Mode.
that you can get. That's right. You can get the a Telegram app, and so we'll dirty text instead of phone sex. So
Yeah.
that's our
Mhm.
route.
A Telegram app, does it end every line with stop?
So no.
Oh God, please. Oh my God, I'm going to start doing that when I text.
That's some excellent topical. You could do that
Well-
thing like where the people have the auto text signature turned on, so every line ends with their name.
Well, the thing is, though, I feel like if we were to do that, you and me, Cooper, if we were to dirty text each other over,
I'd be
Telegram.
surprised if we did, but sure.
Yes, but if we did, then our mind's voice would sound like an 1880s train conductor reading something like like, "Hello, looks like Cooper wants you to take off your pants. Stop," or something like that.
I think
I'm
the
not sure I could
stop
get
might
into
also
space.
send mixed signals.
That's
Oh my God.
That's true.
So
So it works for
take
you,
off your
Rose.
pants. Stop. Really? What do you want?
I kind of find myself vacillating between dirty text and actually having phone sex with.
Oh yes, because you have out of town paramours.
I do have an out of town paramour, and I haven't always done that, and so like I guess this is one of those things where absence really does. It's really
Make the
improved
dick grow
my...
fonder?
Oh yeah, no, well that. No, but it really improved my desire for actually doing, because I never thought I'd want to do phone sex. I never thought I'd want to send dirty texts or dick pics or anything like that. It wasn't my thing, but I think it was just a lack of imagination, and because absence was an issue,
Sure.
it made me a little bit imaginative, and so I kind of I have a different headspace I go into when I start talking to somebody that I'm really into, and I have, say, 30 minutes to an hour alone in a room. I usually start with dirty text, and it's not anything obviously dirty. Just, I'm really into. What are you thinking about? Here's a good time that we had, and then once I start working into that good time, we end up chatting with each other over voice and slowly describing what we did the last time we were together, and then mentioning what we want to do together, and then after that, it just kind of takes off. And it's been a good 6 months since I started doing that, and I've really enjoyed it.
Do you think phone sex is a dying art?
No.
Well, I mean, kids
okay,
today have Skype, Katie.
Yeah, it's Skyping and texting.
And texting. Texting is so easy.
But phone sex over Skype is...
Well, see, and but my question for you, are you talking about Skype in the video chat element of it? Okay. Well, I don't think that makes phone sex itself a dying art. Dylan, I really hear everything that you were just saying about not being into it and then getting into it kind of as a byproduct or in necessity of the relationship that you had. And that was totally my experience too. I mean, one of the very, very, very early episodes of Carnalcopia was about phone sex and dirty talk, and I dug my heels in it. It was an episode full of me going, nope, not into it, don't do it, couldn't pull it off, not gonna happen, no. Lots and lots of reasons. One, I hadn't had a lot of interest in it, and I hadn't had very many long distance partners. I hadn't had a situation where I needed to be into it. It was always, we could flirt back and forth over text, but there was no urgency. So I never kind of cut my teeth on it. And right after that episode came out, my, then person I was dating, now partner, I just get this text message like, oh, really? Let's talk about this. And I kind of really developed a taste for it. One, because I really needed to, with my partner being so far away, but also coming to really enjoy it. And Cooper, what I'm circling back around to.
Wow, that sounded like admonishing. What did I do?
Wow.
Nothing, but I like that as an impulse response. You did nothing wrong. No, what I'm saying is I'm circling back to the reason why I started talking in response to, why would you have phone sex when you have all these other avenues? And I have come to really enjoy phone sex, still having all of those other options. I can dirty text, and I do. I can have sex with my partner on Skype, and I do. And those things are all great, and it's just a different flavor. And I think for me, there's a level of intimacy to it too. I'm not always up for what feels like super duper up close intimacy of here, watch me too. Or what? Why are you?
No, I get that completely. And actually, while you're talking specifically about that, that made me realize what the difference is between phone sex and video Skype sex. In general, video Skype sex, I imagine, I don't have a lot of it. I probably could if I wanted to, but I don't care to. I imagine it's mostly just, you point the webcam at your genitals and go to town, and then the other person points the webcam at their genitals, and you watch each other's genitals while you jack off, right?
Well, that's one option.
There was a woman whose husband is in the military. He's a Marine, and they, of course, they're far miles and miles and miles and oceans away. And she got one of my books and made an appointment with her husband, and she read to him while he was on the other end. And she said, it's one of those stories that kind of puts tears to your eyes. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I got to help you guys connect. She's doing the kids thing and the grocery shopping and clean the house, and her husband's away, and oh my God, it was like, oh yeah, you could still totally, take the laptop or take your phone, whatever, some FaceTime in the bedroom. And, I don't know, you can find a way to be so creative. And over the phone, even if, you're not reading something, even if you feel like clumsy or silly or goofy, if you're on the phone, when you laugh and kind of giggle through it, it's still so freaking hot. It's still so much fun.
Oh, yeah. And that's a great way to start. If you are feeling self-conscious about it, pick up some erotica and read it to each other. Really, at first, what you need to get used to is saying stuff like this over the phone and hearing it over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never mentioned cocks or pussies or said the word fuck more in my life until I started reading erotica. It is a language in and of itself that I think probably more women have to kind of become more comfortable with. At least that's what it was for me, because I'm like, oh my God, like I feel my face burning with this. I'm digging it, but I feel very silly kind of reading it to you. You know, I started just writing my own little stories for my husband and thought, okay, now you go read it privately. I can't watch your face because I'm kind of embarrassed. Go read it. And then, you know, then you start to read it to the, and like I said, you just keep doing it. It'll definitely build up confidence and teach you the language and those sexy breaths and things.
Well, I find it making it, it makes it easier for me to say sexy things when I'm used to listening to sexy things. Because that puts me in the headspace, and so usually before something is going to go on, I take a minute to listen to a little bit of erotica. Because I don't know how you imagine your listeners listen to what you put out there.
Dylan, put her there. Put her there.
Well, okay, I'll tell you how I listen.
Paint the picture, because our listeners, Rose, love it when Dylan paints these pictures.
He does that a lot.
They get all excited.
Go, please, yes.
Well, I kind of I imagine that. No, I don't have to imagine. Comfort has to be. Have you ever floated in a sensory deprivation tank, in a float tank, Rose?
I have not, but I listened to Joe Rogan, and he is really, really pro. I want to do it. I have not yet. No.
Okay. So I bring up comfort because when I'm with somebody skin to skin, there's a lot going on, and I tend to start focusing really intensely on all the sensations that are happening. And if I'm going to listen to erotica and let my mind wander, I find I actually need to stop focusing on what I'm feeling and start to kind of float away a little bit. And so I have to kind of make myself a comfortable space. I'm not holding myself up. I'm leaning completely back. Everything is at my fingertips. I've got headphones in, I've got the phone next to me, with the audio queued up, and all I have to do is kind of sit down, lay down, really get to a point where I'm not doing anything, and then just tap the phone, turn off the screen, and let it go. And as I start to listen to the voice on that erotica, I start focusing on that, and everything else starts to fade away. And so I stop being a person lying on a couch with a pillow behind my head, for example, and I start imagining myself as that person, or as one of the people around, or as somebody just kind of observing the situation. So I'm no longer me. I'm just kind of floating there. And as things come up, as dialogue starts to happen, it starts playing out a story in my head. And so now I'm actually imagining being part of the scene. And as sexy things starting to happen, it isn't even me imagining that I'm doing it usually. It's just it turns me on because I'm focused on the voice being that channel for sexy. Yeah.
Boy, you take everything in. That is an interesting. I'm glad to hear that. Because that usually when I'm hearing back from people, it's during, they're listening while they're driving, or they're just listening during chores, or, it's a more passive experience, but you're like total immersion. Wow. I'll have to keep that in mind. That's good information.
Yeah, Dylan doesn't do anything half-ass. He uses his whole ass.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I do go all in, and the funny thing is, I do start playing with myself when that happens. If I'm in a place where I can do that, but again, it's not like I'm making the conscious decision to, okay, I'm going to start playing with my cock right now, and I'm focusing on what I'm doing to my cock. It's all just kind of a channel for the sexy stuff that's going on. And after everything's done, I kind of start to fade back in, and I start kind of feeling myself again. And of course, I have that after sex after orgasm glow, and it all feels really nice.
Wow. And so so if there were two people in this, could you have a partner there and do it the same way? Could you immerse yourself the same way?
I really think I could.
Like, especially if he or she or whatever, they don't speak. If they're just a sensual body next to you, could you sort of let it travel through you and share that? That's a serious intimacy that's happening there.
Oh my God, you guys, I have to go.
No, you need to stay, Katie, because when I'm with somebody that I really have a connection with, that's kind of what happens. I stop feeling like I'm just my own body, and I start just feeling everything. And so the room will start to float away, and instead of me focusing on my own body or that person's body, it's just kind of all the sensations are happening, and I end up focusing on that. So I think there's a direct connection between the kind of sex that I can have when that happens, and the kind of sensation that I'm experiencing when I'm listening to erotica, potentially with somebody next to me. I think that would work almost exactly the same.
Wow, that's pretty powerful, man. Dang. I'm going to I wrote that down, not a passive experience. I'm going to have to I'm logging that away, because whenever I'm in here recording, I'm always under the assumption, just based on feedback and when I listen to podcasts, that you're doing something else, but you're not. Like, you're soaking it all in.
I bet there's a really good share of people that do both. So I wonder if the people that really are sitting down and really immersing themselves in the experience are getting a different experience than... Well, I mean, okay, it's obvious they're getting a different experience for physical reasons, but if they're just kind of consuming it in their head differently.
But even to go so far as to write maybe, a collection of stories specific to that, okay, now you're, it's kind of like the hypnotic, what do you call them? I don't know, have a stronger self-esteem tapes.
Oh, the subliminal tapes that you listen to when you sleep?
My husband and I, we're total futurists, right? So everybody's going to have a sex robot in the future. Yeah. So, part of that is you're in tune with porn, and then you're there and you can control what this, I don't know, anime character or whatever on your screen does for you when you have what are those called? The goggles, the Oculus.
The Oculus Rift.
The
yes,
VR
now
goggles,
we're talking. There
right?
we go.
So that with the story, oh my God, that would be.
That's the future of sex. This is why the human race is going to die.
Is it no?
No,
this is it. No one will ever need to leave their house
let me
ever again.
To download into whatever body we want next. See?
Well, you're onto something here, Rose, because we already...
Hold on, that's the pornularity you're talking about, Rose.
Yes, bring it, baby.
Well, we're already kind of getting there, because a lot of maybe not a lot, but there are cam girls out there that already are mixing their media, and so obviously they have the video space and they have the audio space, but there are ways to use other devices to add a little bit of a tactile feeling to it. And I'm not just talking about the structured teledildonics things that we've kind of touched on a few times, or that have there have been kind of middling attempts to make it happen, like the Wii Vibe 4 Plus, for example, is one way that you can control an internal and external vibrator through a phone app, and from a partner through distance if you pair it up. And it's kind of a really cool way to transmit some sensation too. But cam girls are, oh shoot, what's it called? The Coop, we got a vibrator that takes audio and transmits it into...
Oh, that's
What?
I have one of these.
It's not music, is it? Is it voice?
It'll do anything. Yeah.
Shit, what company was
Oh,
that?
man.
I got a Lilo. I haven't cracked it open yet. I got a Lilo Vibe from Body, and you can plug it in, and whatever song you turn on, it responds to that song.
Okay. So,
It's Oh My
anything...
Bod, Dylan.
Oh, the Oh My Bod. Okay, so Oh My Bod is what I was talking about, but it's cool that Lilo has one. I'll have to get a hold of it and see how that works. But what Camgirls have been doing is they've been hooking up their audio stream. They tell people to hook up the audio stream through the device, and then you can still hear it because there's a wireless component that you can still plug into headphones. And then they will play certain music, add certain intensities behind what's going on, and kind of pulse things in a certain way so that people are feeling the pulse at the same time they might be doing it. And so whether they want to project a sensation that they're giving to somebody else or whether they want to project that sensation that they're feeling, they've been kind of hacking just plain old audio to send sensations over the internet. And I really think that you could, not like you specifically, but...
Oh, no, I'm thinking to embed this in my audio.
Yeah, like you could totally record almost a second track of just an audio stream that somebody would play directly into the device as you are talking, and then you match them up, and then all of a sudden you're just normally talking to somebody, and then at the same time something ramps up with the vibrator or other device that they have, and then stuff happens.
Heck yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't done this.
Well, see,
Cam girls are at the forefront of technology, of sexy technology right now.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm right. See, I'm writing things down. This is all, I may not have the money to make any of these projects happen, but I can write about it.
Absolutely. So we talked about disliking your voice. We talked about ways to start.
Wait, you dislike my voice? No, I'm kidding.
Cooper.
I'm speaking from the perspective of our listeners disliking their voices.
Yeah. Nice save, Cooper. Nice save.
Yeah.
I've been in editing mode lately, and so I'm like,
no, Rose, this is an intervention. I've called you here onto my podcast to talk about how much I dislike your voice. It's really the douchiest thing I could possibly do.
Rose, we're all here because we love you.
I'm gonna go fetal and suck my thumb. Go eat rocks or something.
So once you get over disliking your own voice, once you explore reading erotica to your partners, what happens when you dislike what you might have to say? Because I think that's the other big hurdle when you're doing dirty talk and phone sex.
Yeah, there's two ways to think about it. If it's audio erotica, then if it's an author's words, I have no choice. If I'm contracted to read it, I gotta read it. And if it's only words, right? But if it's something I've written, then I can fudge things or play with them. If it's something my husband wants me to say, like he loves dirty talk. He absolutely. So we'll be just kind of, it's like we're like worms in the bed, just kind of rubbing all over each other and just saying all kinds of stuff. Well, he wouldn't want me to say that.
No, that is the best bit of erotica ever, by the way, Rose. It's like we were like worms in the bed, just rubbing against each other. Like worms.
You're right. Oh, my husband's like, God damn it, I'm not a fucking worm. So, yeah, like he really loves to hear the dirtiest, nastiest of things. And for a long time, early in our relationship, I didn't have the words. He's like, well, just say something. And I'm like, no, because I don't know what to say. And so there was a little time where I was very uncomfortable with it because I had no words. I had no language. But reading erotica has totally opened my mind. You really can't say anything wrong. If they want something nasty, just say something nasty. If they want it, slow and sensual right at their ear, you can almost get away with reading your shopping list. I've talked to a writer who would have foreplay with her boyfriend by just reading words out of the thesaurus. They would just play with the words. And I don't know if it was over the phone or if it was face to face. It might have been both, but it's so true. It's your body language. It's how you touch. It's how comfortable you are. You can almost say anything. But if it is in like an audiobook that I've been contracted to read, I don't think I've come up with something yet that I didn't want to read. There might have been like an editing issue that I'm like, that's wrong. And so I'll fix it and just not say anything.
I really need to make sure that Tonya listens to this because she doesn't do dirty talk.
You're going to prescribe this as homework?
I think I might. I mean, she's really only on episode like 5 of Life on the Swings. That she isn't the listener. She doesn't care for the show.
No, she
But
doesn't.
I need to let her know that really anything works, because I mean, I believe that. She doesn't believe that, but maybe
I
you saying it
barely
make her
believe it myself. So there's that.
So did you say Tanya?
Yes.
Does Tanya read erotica or any short stories or anything like that?
She doesn't, but let's say that she were going to. What would you recommend for a good start?
Oh gosh. Anything I've ever written. No, you know,
good recommendation.
no, yeah, the best place, at least for me, because I liked the idea. It took me a little bit to get comfortable with reading someone else's work because I was in their head and I wasn't sure what they were going to throw my way and if I would be ready for it. Because you can't unsee some things. And so I found that short anthologies were really good, especially ones that weren't so strongly themed, that were just kind of open themed. It was very helpful. I think one of the best ones, there are two, and they're both Rachel Kramer Bussell edited them, and they were the Gotta Have It, and they're both 69 stories. They're only 1,200 words apiece. The Gotta Have It Antho and her Big Book of Orgasms. Those two really, they're always on the bestseller list. They might drop off one day, but they're always back. People are loving those, and I think it's because we're still uncomfortable with sex, but the audio route still keeps us safe in a way that nothing else can. So if you don't want to read a book with, a sexy cover on it, one of them is just a woman with kind of her O face and profile. So that one's okay, for on the bus, if you're comfortable with that.
It does have the giant word erotica on it, I'm pretty sure.
Orgasms. It does say orgasms. In fact, my son, I had the book right before I was getting ready to narrate it. I was reading it, and my son was, "What's orgasms?" And so, conversations happened through erotica anthology.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, so it's great. It worked out great. I would say those short bursts of investment. If you you kind of know what she likes, I'm assuming, in bed or whatever, or imaginatively. You might find something in there and say, okay, go to page 69 and read that story. You'll like that story. And then I want you to read it to me. Or can I read it to you? That's something my husband and I have done.
I like this a lot. We had, I almost said her by Twitter handle. I was about to say we had Raquelita on. We had Rachel Kramer Bussell on late last year when she was releasing new one of the anthologies, and I didn't actually pick it up, and I think I absolutely will now, not just for me but for Tonya. So yeah, thank you.
Those are ones. You're very welcome. Those are not ones I've written, but I really like. Rachel is one of the hardest working people, and so I always want to pimp her work. She finds really good stuff because she knows how to relate to a lot of varieties, specifically in those two books. I cannot recommend them enough. I've enjoyed them over and over again.
Hey all, Cooper here to tell you the exciting news that my best-selling book, My Life on the Swingset, Adventures in Swinging and Polyamory, is now available on Audible. As you may know, if you sign up for Audible now, you can get your first month and first audiobook free. So why not make it mine? Go to audible.mylotss.com and get 8 hours of newly produced audio content now. If you crave other methods of book consumption, you can purchase the DRM-free ebook or paperback, as well as the audiobook direct from me at mylifeontheswingset.com. You know you'd rather hear than read about my epic prostate orgasm. Why not do it now? When it comes to online dating, we here at the Swingset believe that Cassidy is the best one out there. It looks great, it's intuitive and easy to use, and it's simply full of potential sexy friends. Still the fastest growing online swinger dating site in the world, Cassidy has been our go-to site for the last 3 years. If you sign up using our link at lifeontheswingset.com/KASIDIE, you'll get some free time to explore the site, and you can decide for yourself if Cassidy is the site for you. Hope to see you there at Cassidy.com.
We at the Swingset believe that being risk-aware and practicing safer sex makes our lifestyle exponentially better. With that in mind, we're partnering with Lucky Bloke, global condom experts and the best online source for condoms and lube, to say no to mediocre condoms and bring the most pleasurable, safer sex directly to our listeners. Go to swingsetcondoms.com to see a specially curated selection of condoms, lubes, and assortments to reintroduce variety and excitement into the protection portion of your playtime. You should especially take note of the deluxe sampler put together by us at the Swingset for your party and date night kit. Making your condom purchase here supports both us at the Swingset and the wonderful purveyors of safer sex, the Lucky Bloke. swingsetcondoms.com.
It's Prof. I'm here with Ginger, and we have some big news to share, Ginger.
We do. We're going to Desire. Again.
Yes, we are. April 2016. From the 16th through the 21st, we are going to do a 5-day bit of awesomeness.
Absolutely. It's a hold me over. If you can't make it in November, we'd love to host you in April with JV and Shara from Ending the Sexual Dark Age.
And we're going to have a chill time. Not quite as many activities as our normal November trip, but still lots of awesome Desire fun for sure. So, Ginger, how do people get on this awesome trip with us?
They should definitely email me at ginger@lifeontheswingset.com and we'll get you in touch with Jim from Shar Travel. We'd love to see you there. Join us.
Yay! Do it.
So now let's take it all the way from the reading other people's work and having the phone sex and the dirty talk, and writing your own erotic short story.
Oh, gosh. So now it's not just the tip, it's like the full thing.
Yeah, the whole damn thing.
Okay.
So what I would ask is, actually, as a person who's writing sex scenes for the first time in my life, how do you keep from going insane?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I can. In what way? Like, am I always trying to challenge my writing to write sexier, or
well, it's interesting because I suppose you could say, well, the amount of variety in possible sex acts is nearly infinite because there are so many things that people can and will do to each other in bed. But how do you get past the mundane and make it sexy?
I roll my eye. No. Like if it's something that I'm writing or that I'm reading.
Like you're writing. No.
That I'm writing. Oh, if it's mundane, then it gets scrapped. Mm-hmm. I can't. If it doesn't move me, then I can't do it. And fortunately, I'm one of those people. I'm very easily turned on. It's like my husband is very lucky. He does not have to work very hard.
That doesn't mean he doesn't, but
I know.
But he doesn't have to.
Yeah. I try to be as creative as I can, but I think so. For a while, I didn't care if I offended people. Mm-hmm. When I wrote something, it tended to be kind of along the horror lines, because I really like that there are no rules in horror. So there's always sex there. So I always like to have super hot, sexy story with a horror element. So that gave me a lot of room to run. But then working with a publisher, I had to reel that in. And that was the most frustrating thing. And I really tried hard to not go mad and get angry and lash out and just, "Ugh, you're killing me, people." One of the things I've discovered is that you can do whatever you want to a middle-aged white guy. You can rape him in the ass for a year. You can cut his nipples off and whatever you want to do. Nobody cares. But the minute you do it to a female character in fiction, people get offended. So working with a publisher was challenging for that reason. I had a story that I had written where I had captured a dude and made him a sex slave. And they were okay with that. Him being held at like knife point. But then they weren't okay with a story that Emily Bingham put in about Little Red freaking Riding Hood. Like they didn't want her Mary Janes in her dress to make her look too girlish. She had to present more adult-like. And so they had to give her bigger breasts. And that was very frustrating. And there were moments like, okay, I don't want this book deal because you're killing these authors' voices. And first of all, it's the Little Red Riding Hood. Come on, everyone has had that fantasy. The big bad wolf is hot.
I'm actually really surprised. Well, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but all the way down to changing somebody's physical characteristics to meet a more standard female, hot female thing. I don't even know what to call it really, but there are plenty of women, grown women that have bodies like we would imagine, say, an adult Red Riding Hood to have. And oh man, whenever I do listen to something, there's so much care taken in describing what somebody looks like, and changing the way somebody looks in a mind's eye. It seems so fundamental to what somebody's writing. I feel for you. I did not know that was a thing, and I'm glad that you don't. You have the freedom through other methods to to put the way you imagine someone out there.
It's one of the most ridiculous. You know what? Any woman is going to look like a girl if you put her in a gossamer dress and Mary Jane's. It's just it's unavoidable, and like pigtails or whatever. So that's a kink, that's a fantasy, and if it's consensual, even if it was a little trickstery, it's fiction. Number one, it's fiction. No actual people were harmed in the creation of this story, and that's been one of my biggest sort of nerve-wracking things. Is that I just. I'm doing this antho right now that is a horror erotica anthology. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's my libidinous zombie antho. And I went to specific authors to get their specific voice because each one of them has the ability to write something really dark. And trigger warnings, like I'm kind of poking fun a little bit at the whole trigger warning thing and saying, if you are easily offended, please do not read this book. Just don't read it and we'll all be happy. Like, I don't want you to. I number one, don't ever like to be told what to do. I am the world's worst submissive ever. So, and it works really well for my husband and me. We're good. But to be controlled when you're writing a story of people who don't exist, of things that have not actually happened, in front of you, you should be able to write what you want. A writer should have the freedom to write whatever you want. And that's what I think is really amazing about having a podcast, is that you can say whatever the hell you want. And if someone's offended, they don't have to listen. That's
but
fine.
they will.
Bye. Oh, yeah. And they'll call you all the wretched things that they can think of and blame you for all the child pornography that's traversing the planet. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm putting you in that file and, have a good laugh later. Oh, yeah. It's like there are many frustrations, but being told what I cannot write, I'm going to write it to despite you. I'll do it.
I like
Don't
that.
tell me no.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that
By the
answer
way, hashtag LZ for everybody. Hashtag LZ.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really, really super excited about this one. I'm going to have so much fun with it. Oh my God. Like right out of the gate, it's okay. Here we go. We're in. Let's do this. Oh yeah. That's one of the things that I've always loved about horror. Are you guys horror fans? Any of
I'm
you guys?
a huge horror fan.
So wait, no, okay. I'm gonna switch. So did I see that right? You're doing a Hannibal Lecter?
Well, we're just finishing up the Hannibal Lecter podcast, Eat the
What
Rootcast.
was it about?
It was we reviewed every episode of the series, and we're working our way through the movies now.
Oh wow. Okay, because I wanted to check that out. I have not seen the Hannibal.
Oh my God!
I so
Okay,
don't.
so now,
Stop
let-
everything!
Let
It's
me
the-
tell you.
I'm glad that this came out towards the end of the episode rather than the beginning.
So I'll just tell you, as somebody that wasn't indoctrinated into the works of Thomas Harris, and it was not a huge horror fan.
Oh.
You'll know within maybe 15 to 20 minutes of watching the first Hannibal episode whether you're into it or not. And if you are, it is it's immersive.
Rose, I know
and
you well
wonderful.
enough
Yeah.
to know that you will adore
Oh
this
my
show.
Dude, I saw that pop up. I call you dude. I apologize.
You
Don't
can
be
call me
offended.
dude.
I call everybody dude. So, when I saw that, I was like, I gotta totally listen because I haven't seen it. Like I'm one of those. I'm a dedicated follower. So I'm getting ready, or I just started American Horror Stories Freak Show. So I have things come out on Netflix. So I watched it. And now I'm getting ready for that. But Hannibal was next on my list.
Yeah.
And I know that people love it.
And it's only 39 episodes long, the entire series.
And the funny thing is, the podcast is like 150 hours long.
So yeah,
So,
we routinely are 2 to 3 times the length of the episode for the podcast.
And
We actually produced a 4-hour podcast about Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's awesome. I loved Silence of the Lambs. Oh my God. Oh yeah. So did anybody else think that it looked like Sylvester Stallone's head that was in that the taxi in the store? I'm like, oh my God, that's Sylvester Stallone. Oh, I love that. Clarice. Yes.
That's awesome.
I am in. Okay, so I'll listen to. I am a huge horror fan. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love to be. It's a great adrenaline rush.
I'm looking forward to this. I've never consumed any horror
Not at
as
all?
audio. No, as audio, as purely audio.
Okay.
No,
So-
as audio might be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a reluctant horror, not even fan sounds like the right word. I enjoy it. I just don't have like the constitution for it afterwards. I will watch a horror movie and be fine and be good and be into it, and then the credits will roll and I'm like, that was a very enjoyable film watching experience. And then I'll like go to get up off the couch and that's just fucking it for the night. Like
That fear's itching at your heels. Oh yeah, you're like, okay, turn on all the lights to go to the bathroom. And then
all the lights, don't look in the mirrors, don't like
don't say Candyman 30 times. That's right. Yeah, I still suffer a little bit from that, but I kind of like it. It's fun for me. Like oh my gosh, I don't remember. It was Paranormal Activity watching it with my husband. I swear to God, I think I gouged him so bad. The worst thing, like I can handle slasher stuff all day long. I love to laugh at the stupid chicks who run upstairs instead of out the front door. It's hilarious. Like I love to poke fun at the dummies, but it's the stuff that's like the demon possession stuff. Because I don't believe in God, but it's only because it's not been proven that there is a God. And so that means nobody knows for sure if there are demons. And so part of my brain goes, there might be, and oh girl, they're going to come for you. So I get a little wigged out over those.
Well, 'tis the season after all.
It is.
It is.
It's my favorite season. I love it.
So with that, Rose, where can our listeners find your work, can buy your audio, and support you online?
Please support me online. My husband and I, it's a mom and pop sex show. It's the Kiss Me Quicks Erotica podcast, and it's on iTunes. The website is thekissmequicks.com. You can support the show directly by buying all of the audiobooks I've ever narrated. Maybe not some of the earlier ones, the later ones, when I started liking my voice. In Audible.
Now that's okay. So I make fun of us all the time for saying, listeners shouldn't listen to our original episodes, and they tell us all the time that they're wonderful. Even more, not just for contests, but they're awesome. They're just they were us in a different place, and I have to believe that your earlier stuff has some value too, even if you didn't like your own voice. So you may say not to buy them. I'm going to say, listeners, if you have to, if you feel dedicated to, go for it and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's always fun to go back and see how much you've grown. And that, especially on the podcast, that's when many of our longtime listeners started as well. And so they have been along for this journey this whole time. And they're like, oh, we could tell when you're really into this story. And we could tell, when you're on the show, if you've had a bad day, or, you're like, oh, they're really listening. Oh God. Maybe I panted a little too much, grumbled or something. Yeah. Yeah, go back and listen, I guess.
Oh, I'm with you, Rose. I still don't want anyone listening to our early shows.
Oh, but I bet they're fun.
There are some that are fun, yes.
So do you find that you have same conversations that maybe have evolved?
That's the other reason people shouldn't listen to our early shows, is we're just basically in reruns at this point.
Well, no, it's not that. Listen, if you take where we were in our mind's eye back in episode, let's say 10 or 20, we were still very much just a couple of straight white dudes lucky enough to have a hot girl along for the ride, and we ended up graduating, which is fun, but. I talked a lot about boobies, and then we graduated into we
all the time.
we realized that there were other things than just boobies and pussies, and things got a lot more fun. We expanded our worldview and found some amazing things, and so I do like going back every so often, listening to myself and cringing, but understanding that this is history. It might feel like it was 50 years ago, but it was really only 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing what comfort allows you to talk about more freely.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same for me. Like I said, I never said cocks or pussies nearly as much as I before starting the podcast. So that was whoa, that was fun. Now I say it all the time. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the time. Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Dylan, we've got a review from our listeners. Would you like to read it?
I would love to.
It especially compliments you, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I especially want to read it. So.
I thought you'd like that.
All right. So this one's from Captain Video from iTunes.
And Captain Video, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the Nintendo superhero, wasn't it? Or was that
Video.
Captain N?
Wow.
No one knows.
I don't know. Listeners,
they fought Mother Brain.
No, that was. I remember Mother Brain.
And Simon Belmont was in it, the vampire hunter.
Okay, so that felt like a different game. I think we're mixing.
No, they were all together. That was the cool thing about it, because Mother Brain is the villain from Metroid, and
right.
Simon Belmont is from Castlevania. But they were all together in one show, and I think it might have been Captain N. I think I'm wrong.
Okay, well,
the Game Master. That sounds right.
Captain
I should
Video.
Wikipedia it.
No. I bet Captain Video will know. So Captain Video, please write in and let us know where we're going with this, because we have no idea, much like the rest of the podcast.
And Mother Brain was voiced by Levi Stubbs, who was the voice of Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors.
Huh. I'll be damned.
That's the sound Dylan makes when he doesn't care. Just couldn't care less.
No.
Go on, Dylan. Read the review.
Legitimate surprise. Remember, that was the space between words that we were talking about, Cooper. So, the 4, or sometimes more, members of the cast of Life on the Swing Set keep the discussion entertaining and lively. Dylan does a great job with the sound quality. It almost always sounds like everybody is in the same room with dedicated mics. The podcast is the one true successor to Sex is Fun.
Aww.
Right? It's sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it was Captain N, the Game Master. I looked online.
Cool.
But I think there was a Captain Video too. Now I need to look.
Well, we'll have to boot up Nesticle or our other various NES emulators and play it once we
No, I don't think it was a game. I think it was a show.
Real? Oh,
Yeah.
huh. All right, then I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
talking.
watch
Captain N was a show, not a game.
it. Okay.
Captain
game
Video and his Video Rangers, an American science fiction television series, which was aired on the Dumont television network in 1955. There we go.
Okay.
The more you know.
All of this sounds like gibberish to me now. I'm really interested in what this is all about.
I'm just reading Wikipedia. I'm not making this shit up, Dylan.
No, but the people that wrote it on Wikipedia are, so that's okay.
You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/theswingset. Follow us on Twitter at Cooper S. Beckett, at ThatKatieMac, and at Dylan the Thomas. Check out this podcast, daily blogs, articles, and toy reviews on our website at lifeontheswingset.com and on our site's Twitter feed at ontheswingset. Email us at contact@lifeontheswingset.com. We will be doing one more listener mailbag show this year. We'd love it if you'd leave us a voicemail at 573-55-SWING. That's 573-557-9464. We've actually had a few voicemails come in. Thank you for that. They are in deep freeze storage, so we can thaw them out for the episode.
Much like my the condoms in the back of my trunk while I was traveling in Upper
Yes,
Mongolia.
did you
Right,
like that,
Cooper?
Dylan? Yes. Speaking of those condoms, you're not getting them if you order from swingsetcondoms.com. I mean, I suppose if you emailed Dylan at lifeontheswingset.com and asked him to send you one of his deep freeze condoms from his trunk, it's going to be okay because it's winter now. It's just in the summer you don't want his trunk condoms.
Yes, winter has already come.
You should buy them at swingsetcondoms.com because it supports this podcast and gets you awesome condoms directly from the lucky bloke. We don't even touch them, so you don't even have to wait. You can support us by buying a shirt, leaving us a tip at lifeontheswingset.com/support, and you can also find our Patreon there. You can find our other great podcasts like the Gentle Pervert Social Club, Intellectual Foreplay, The Kinky Geeks, Eat the Rudecast, which is sadly coming to an end, a damn good podcast about Twin Peaks, Sex Ed a Go-Go, and the Tell Me Something Good podcast at swingset.fm or on our free Android app. And finally, you can buy my book, My Life on the Swingset: Adventures in Swinging and Polyamory, as an ebook, paperback, or audiobook at mylifeontheswingset.com.
Hey, Rose.
Yes.
So
Never will he let me get through an end.
We were
Never.
talking
Just
horror.
never. He won't. Ginger even did it last time.
I noticed.
Go on, Dylan.
I just like the hey Ray.
He likes to do that too.
Have you heard that there's a television show coming out soon called Ash vs. the Evil Dead?
Yes. Halloween.
Okay. Yes. So your Erotica's coming out on Halloween. This is coming out on Halloween. Yeah. And have you seen the actual trailer for the show?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Groovy Bruce and I go way back, baby. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love him. Absolutely.
I know that that today's writers and producers and everybody have screwed a lot of things up, but the trailer for that just looks so it feels like joy.
Well, it's not today's writers and producers. It's Sam Raimi writing and directing.
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, that corset, baby. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Bring it. I'm in. Let me lick it. I'm in.
I can't wait to watch that. And the advanced reviews have been really superb.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in. I would love to go and just see. I've never been to a Comic-Con or any other con. I've never been.
Because Bruce goes to all of them.
He's always there. I swear to God, if I just stood before him, I would probably orgasm. I would he hates having everybody say, I don't want to repeat, give me some sugar, baby, or it's just pillow talk. I'm tired of doing this. Well, now, because I thought he wasn't going to do this again, but now he has, so he better do all for me. I'm going to have a list. Say them all right now. I'm going to plug it up to a vibrator or something.
I just want to shake his hand, the one that he actually has, of course, and say thank you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, yes. I am a fan.
Oh, good.
Now, are you guys doing a podcast for that show, too?
No, I canceled it.
Oh, you did?
We need a break.
Ah.
We've almost done 45 weeks straight of Eat the Rootcast, and we're going to be going back into Twin Peaks territory very soon. And
they're revamping that, right?
Yeah, that's coming late next year.
See, I was late to that show. My husband introduced that show to me like last year, and okay, that's a weird freaking show.
Oh yes, but it's amazing.
The backwards recording one, oh my god, I was tripping balls on that. What is happening?
You know, I never watched it, and I had no idea that the Simpsons reference to This Suit Burns Better, was actually a reference. Well, I mean, it wasn't a reference. It was exactly what they did in Twin Peaks, and I just way over my head. It's part of being young.
References in Psych. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but
whole episode about.
I know. I was like, oh my god. Now I get it. Now I can laugh. Honestly.
Hey, Dylan, I can stop recording, right?
Well,
we're not done yet.
I need to actually say the end of the show. I need to do a.
Oh, that's right. You were.
Yeah, we have not officially ended the show. We need to keep this rolling so Cooper can't say the end of the show. Hey, Katie.
I am not helping you, Dylan.
You're actually. You'd be surprised, Katie, how much you help me on a regular basis, if you know what I mean.
Oh my. Oh, have we really descended to that level, Dylan?
Well, Katie, I did listen to you for 2 straight hours. Very slowly and methodically edit the episodes that I was not there in. So
really, that's the definition of Dylan masturbation. It's slow and methodical.
Cooper, you can say the end any time you want.
So
I know I can.
The things that I was doing with my hands.
I'm just going to say thanks for swinging by, and he can keep talking. It doesn't matter. He's editing it. I mean, it really doesn't matter at all.
We're not going to get a description of all the places that you do. I'm sorry.
Well, I was dragging that mouse very slowly along the edges of her waveform curves, and really just making sure that when I cut, it was precise and accurate, and only a little bit. I only left a little bit to come out. It was it was great.
Have a sexy business? Love the Swingset? Let's put these 2 great things together. The Swingset Network has advertising and sponsorship packages available for our websites and podcasts. Email advertising at lifeontheswingset.com for more information. Thanks.
Okay, so have you played with the wave files? Like, further than that? Like, you say boobies, and then you just kind of go, okay, that's what boobies look like. And then you say fuck, and then you look at that wave, and then you say, tits or something. A whole strain of words. That's fun, too.
Actually, yes. In all seriousness, Katie, when you laugh and do the whole, that thing, I know for me it sounds like a cough, but for you it sounds like a real laugh. I recognize that now. Out of your audio stream, so I know not to cut that out. But I also know when you're kind of moving and shifting around, and I know what that looks like in your waves now, and it's really distinct. So I understand what Cooper's stuff looks like without actually having to listen to it.
He knows what my stuff looks like.
I really
Don't
do.
we all?
So,
I don't hide it well.
So what I'll do is I have 3 screens. I have 3 1080p screens, and so I'll stretch out the audio stream
Explanabrag. There it is.
Along all 3 screens, and I'll edit on the left screen, or I'll be listening on the left screen, but then I'll kind of look ahead and start editing things as I see them, and so I'll actually mute things that I don't think are actual content ahead of time, or I'll mark them so that I can mute them, and then when I actually scroll over, I'll go ahead and mute it or erase it or whatever I have to do. So it's kind of a neat way that I've accidentally learned how to edit this, but. Yes, I do actually know what Katie Mack saying fuck looks like now.
Yeah, that's fun. It's the little things, right?
It really is.
Glad it all stands out.
We should leave it there so poor Katie can go.
For the record, Katie, I don't actually masturbate to your audio. I just want you to know.
I was not worried about that, but I do also appreciate the reassurance.
Okay. I mean, I know I awkwardly flirt with you a decent amount, but I want that to be like consensual, awkward flirting and/or masturbation. So we'll chat.
So somebody snorted. That's gonna look fun on the screen.
Yeah, that was me. I'm gonna call it.
Okay, good.
Time of death, 9:26 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Thank you so much, Rose. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Cooper. I enjoyed myself immensely. Thank you so much, you guys.
Awesome.
Oh, good. Okay, you guys go ahead and talk, and I'm just gonna listen.
Well, we
The
were
whole
just talking about toaster strudels, and I believe the Democratic debate is on, so we might be able to put a top together, including toaster strudels and the Democratic debate. What do you think?
Make it like a drinking game.
I am pro toaster strudel. I would like to make my position clear.
It has been way too long since I've had a toaster strudel, but
Well-
I remember them fondly.
Well, I think the last time I ate a toaster strudel was before I was of drinking age. So now that we can combine these two, why don't I grab some and I can drop them in some vodka and infuse the vodka with the essence of toaster strudel?
Oh no!
And then we can drink it during the
Vodka doesn't
Democratic
use
debate.
bread-based products.
I know that, but okay, fine. I'll scrape the
What is-
jelly
okay.
off.
Dylan, you're combining it with the wrong intoxicant. First,
No,
of all.
hold on. We can MacGyver this. What if you went all Martha Stewart on this bitch and you were gonna like make your own, but you put vodka in the filling and like something boozy in the frosting?
Okay, we can do this.
Can you mix a rum and a vodka? I don't know hard alcohols. I'm a beer girl.
You really shouldn't mix rum and vodka.
It's one of those where you can, but you'll most likely have a bad time.
Not highly recommended.
Like I hear, don't smoke pot and get drunk because you just kind of bomb or something.
It's a poor comment.
Okay, I don't know.
But you know what?
Guaran-
When you keep the toaster strudels in the freezer, you want to know an important life tip, Dylan. So, you know how it comes with the packets of the frosting. But if it's in the freezer, the packets of frosting are frozen. And,
you should warm them up in your hand.
No, you know what you do? You set them on top of the toaster.
I've thought of that, but I've always been afraid of the plastic getting melty.
Maybe my toaster's not great, but it's never happened.
Maybe I'm
I
just
just want to
paranoid.
mention, Rose, you did ask for this, by the way.
I feel I should confess I've never had a toaster strudel.
Oh.
Is it a Pop-Tart thing?
Okay,
It's
so
it's like Pop-Tarts, but better.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's better. Well, that's good.
you could imagine it's just as shitty while also being better. Like it's just as much of a bad idea to eat as a Pop-Tart. However, it does.
Okay, well,
taste
hold on.
better.
Let's talk about some very significant improvements over the Pop-Tart. First of all,
Tonight we're talking
crust.
about breakfast
Second,
technology.
actual gooey filling.
I could do
so
an
like
episode on this.
pie filling. Third, you get the frosting and you can squeeze it on yourself. I mean, come on.
Oh, there you go.
Proofs
Now you're
on-
talking.
So
There
it's
are
like a
only
lazy
three
Saturday
aspects to a Pop-Tart. It's the frosting, the filling, and the bread. It improves on every one of them. I don't see how you could say it's just as bad as a Pop-Tart, Katie, when it's clearly at least 300% better.
I don't mean in quality, Cooper. I mean sheerly in the fact that it is not a good food for
Oh.
your body.
Okay, I could go along with that.
With the filling and squirting the frosting on it, we could really do a little bit of toaster strudel roleplay, I think. And we would combine this into a wonderful.
Dylan, are you
Wonderful
starting
piece.
the erotica part of the podcast? Because I should do the intro.
I was started about 30 seconds ago. I don't know about you guys.
Dylan, I think there's a really interesting game to be played in here, which is let's see how many totally inane things we can get Coop to take a really strong stance on.
I'm not fucking around when it comes to Mr. Strudel. I have blocked and unfriended 4 people this week on Facebook, and
About
Oh,
toaster
don't
dear.
test
strudel
me.
related issues.
well, you know, it could get heated.
Is there a specific allotment one should allow themselves in terms of daily toaster strudel intake?
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, right now I'm not eating, I
Vowels,
wouldn't
what's
eat any, but I
Well,
think,
see,
I think more than. Do they still come in 2s? Like you open the packet and there's 2 in there?
no, it's a box of 6.
Yeah, but they're individually wrapped, aren't they?
Oh my
No,
God.
they come like waffles. They're just all
Well,
in the
okay.
bag and box.
So apparently things have changed. Cooper, are you okay with change?
I'm not okay with change. I need an adult.
Now, Rose, I'm not sure that I have a strong opinion on how many toaster strudels you should be eating daily. I think I got lost somewhere around the daily aspect of that sentence.
Until your stomach says, yeah, that's good. I tell you what, I always wanted that little Pillsbury Doughboy, though. Skip the strudel. Give me the little Doughboy. He would be fun.
Go on.
I Googled what toaster strudels look like because I didn't know what they were. And now I think,
They're basically just better looking Pop-Tarts. They're
they
like,
are.
Pop-Tart's hot older sister.
I have to believe that there's a niche for this because there are already
Pop-Tart porn?
well there are already people that
Pop-Tart
already-
erotica?
yeah well no really like there are already people that will live stream themselves online eating, and I have to believe that there's a subset of those users that would be specifically interested in watching probably women eat
I'm
toaster strudels
sure.
very very slowly and deliberately.
Because in real life, women can watch men eat toaster strudels pretty much
That's
for free.
true.
But in
We can watch men do anything for free. That'd be
pretty
like,
much, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, hands off your keyboards right now. Pillsbury Doughboy fanfic. Is it out there?
Well, here, I'm going to share a picture that I got sent today that I think you'll all enjoy.
Oh dear, this should be good. Rose, it was nice talking to you.
All right, Rose, we got some good audio here. Thank you
It's
for
in the
playing.
Skype thing, and for the
wow.
listeners at home, it's the Pillsbury Doughboy wearing a ratty wig and holding 2 cinnamon buns over his chest, with his Pillsbury dough parts tucked between his legs, saying, "Art me."
Wait a second. For the listeners at home, what the fuck Dylan, I see no
Did I make him walk away?
Well, I can't even see it because it wants me to log in with my Skype shit. I'm just
Yeah, don't do that.
Why are we making assumptions about this audio see in the light of day? Dylan, talk to me.
Oh,
Well,
Dylan has started just including absolutely everything in podcasts now. So I think he's playing a long game with our listeners to see exactly what they'll take.
Fun fact,
Oh my
Rose,
God, Cooper!
I released a podcast yesterday, and we usually record our audio. Well, we record our audio streams separately, and so the professor was having a bit of an audio issue. So there were significant periods of time when the professor would be speaking, and then he'd realize nobody was listening to him, and then he would kind of mumble on along himself. And I ended up putting an outro, like a clip show at the end of funny things that happened in the episode, and then I left that stream of Prof's solo audio in, where he just kind of mumbled to himself and kind of lament Skype, and I put music behind it, and it actually sounded pretty wonderful.
Like deep poetry.
Yes.
Okay, so we should do a show.
We should do a show, but it's the back view of this picture that's killing me right now.
Oh, I know, the little bits.
Okay.
Go on, Rose.
Rose, can you see it?
I'm looking at, like I said, I Googled what toaster strudels were, and I'm thinking they would make a great, I don't know what it's technically called, but some sort of a crushing video underfoot. That would be really good.
Oh, yeah.
That would be.
Does that constitute splashing?
What is splashing?
Well, splashing is smashing food into you or a partner for sexual gratification.
So into you. Okay, this.
Could they have picked a less appealing word for that?
Splashing, yeah. It's like
I don't wanna
people
splash.
sitting on plates and
That
like
sounds like
and
something I really
cakes.
try to avoid doing. Like, I will go out of my way to avoid splashing, and I don't even know it. Like, that's just on the word alone.
I think I do it accidentally. Come on. I don't know if I'm
I think I like you a little more now, Rose.
Okay, well let's do this thing.
Let's do it.
I'm Tina Horn, author of Love Not Given Lightly and host of the Wire People Into That podcast. And you're listening to a Swingset podcast at swingset.fm.